If I'm not coming through, tell me,
You're good.
okay? The first order of business has to do with the approval of our last meeting, the minutes of January 25th, 2021. Need a motion, motion by Betty, seconded by Kate. If we have any corrections, you did a great job, Jan, in regard to these. Not that you don't always do a great job, but you know, sometimes I sneak in and find a couple grammatical things. And no corrections? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Ayes have it. Moving on, well, first of all, we want to address the fact that Mr. Dillon is a year older today. He and George Washington, born on the same day. So he's got somebody to shoot for. He's now over the age of 35, and he's eligible to run for president. So, Jimmy, happy birthday to you. Okay, I didn't know whether you had, is Brian on the phone?
Nope, Brian's right there.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't look, Brian. Brian, okay, Brian is here, Brian Johnson, to answer any questions for us. Anyone in regards to the report sent to us by the sanitary district, Great Peoria Sanitary District, and does anybody have a question or comment? The only thing I had in there, Brian, and maybe I'm just getting the cart before the horse. I know you got to do that design and that, or the $200,000 for the Farnsworth group that's going to design your building down there. Now, when do you anticipate maybe getting started on the work on that particular building, and when do you hope to have it finished?
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. We're probably going to start construction on that before the end of this coming fiscal year. So that'd be May of next year would be the latest we would start construction on that building. We have to have that building completed before we can do our levee work, though. So that's kind of our deadline for it.
Okay, they're building a new building down there, if you read in the report that he sent us. Any other questions or comments to Brian? Brian, do you want to make any comments?
No, Mr. Chairman. Weather's turning nice, so I invite anyone who wants to come down for a tour, give me a call or send me an email sometime when it gets warm. And happy to have you, as always. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, under the informational items, the facilities plan, and do you want to comment on that, Mr. Sorrell?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You'll find the monthly facilities master plan report in the packet. The only update to note this month is the project for the space that we own at One Technology Plaza. As of last week, was approximately 75% complete, and they estimated that they'd be substantially complete by the end of this week. And so we'll do that walk through and then develop a punch list and go from there. So that project is coming to a close here pretty soon. Happy to answer any questions.
Anyone with a question? Okay, moving to our action items, these resolutions, and we have 4 of them on our agenda today, and they all deal with the highway department. So both the people are here that will be able to handle these for us. The first one, we need a motion to get it on the floor, is an intergovernmental agreement. And need a motion by Kate, Second by Betty. Who's it? Okay, Mr. Gillis.
Good afternoon. The first one is Medina Township Intergovernment Agreement. Structure number 4804 is located on Dickinson Lane. It's about a quarter-mile west of Old Galena Road. The bridge is 34 foot long. It is only a single lane bridge constructed with a timber deck, steel beams, and timber support piles. It was built in 1939 and reconstructed again in 1970. The bridge has a weight limit of 15 tons and sufficiency rating of 35.7. I realize the bridge is, and the township realizes the bridge only serves 25 vehicles a day and it's a dead-end road. However, there are two very nice houses back there and a large cattle operation. There's also a total of 5 parcels that have to use this bridge to get to access to their property. Like we do with all other township bridges, and this is a structure, so the county has responsibility over it because it is a structure. We can utilize $289,000 of IDOT Township Bridge Program money for the project. Additionally, Medina Township is going to put all their allotment of $174,194.52 of their Illinois or Rebuild Illinois bond funds into this project. When we get all done, the county, after the TBP and the rebuild funds are taken out, the rest of the project will be split 50-50 between the county and the township, and we're looking at a price of the county for about $275,000. The project is scheduled for construction in spring of '23.
Questions for Mr. Gillis? No questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. The second resolution is to deal with this same particular bridge, so we need a motion on that. Motion by Kate, seconded by Betty. Thank you, ladies.
So this is
Rod, go ahead about the engineering on this, please.
This is the preliminary engineering agreement for the Dickinson Road Bridge project. The agreement will be with Maurer Stutz for $144,124. We are asking for an additional appropriation up to $150,000. The reason that is this project is very close to state right. Well, it's involved with some state right-of-way for their future planned extension of Route 6. It's also very near Caterpillar, which puts us in some precarious potential environmental extra studies we may have to do. So once our preliminary environmental site assessment comes through, we may have to do a little additional work for a preliminary site investigation. Those usually don't cost a lot of money. It's usually just a double check. So we want to put that $150,000 appropriation in there just for a little buffer.
Comments or questions for Rod? Or pardon me, Jeff. I was thinking of your cousin.
That's all right.
Rod. He's with the elevator operators. Kate.
I'm just curious, what are some of the things that you think could be potentials for?
I don't think we'll find anything.
Okay.
It's just the proximity to Caterpillar with their manufacturing, and who knows what else goes on there in the farms and things like that nearby. So this is just something that we're used to with IDOT. They see something, they say, hey, we got to check this a little closer. But I really don't think there's any issues.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'm going to call the resolution. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Ayes have it. Our third resolution, Jeff, you're going to handle that one as well. Okay, it deals with an area out in the region of Elmwood, and it's the Graham Chapel Road. Need a motion on that? Motion by Rod and seconded by Kate.
Structure number 072-3075 is a double 8-foot by 11-foot concrete box culvert located on Graham Chapel Road. If you're not familiar with the area, it's a little bit south and east of Elmwood. This is a county highway. The structure was constructed in 1955 and has a sufficiency rating of 40.5. There's 525 vehicles per day over the structure. The structure is posted for illegal loads only, so we can't allow overweight vehicles to go over it at this time. We have federal surface transportation program designated for bridges available for FY23 that'll cover 80% of the project. We're estimating the cost of the construction to be $900,000, so the federal amount will cover $720,000 and the county share will be $180,000. This resolution's for the engineering agreement with Maurer Stutz to do the phase 1 and phase 2 engineering.
And we pay for the engineering.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. We can't take any of that federal money for that.
It just robs it from the construction.
Yeah.
And it goes a lot faster if we do our local money for engineering. Otherwise, we have to wait for IDOT approval to start.
Any other questions for Jeff? Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Ayes have it. And our final resolution has to do with Maxwell Road out here by the jail, that area. Need a motion on that to act on this resolution. Kate? Seconded by Rob. All right. Jeff, you go ahead and do all the work this time, okay?
This resolution is to do phase 1 engineering of Maxwell Road. We have 2 projects coming up in the near future, and we need to do the phase 1 engineering for both projects. The first project is the bridge over the old Chicago Northwestern Railroad. Bridge is 314 feet long, which is probably our biggest bridge we have in our system. It has a sufficiency rating of 65.7, and it's posted for legal loads only. If you look in the pictures in your packet, you'll see the expansion joints on each end of the bridge are bad, and water is dripping down on the beams, and there actually, it looks like on the ends of the beams, something is chewing on the ends of the beams. The rust has made them deformed, or not necessarily deformed, but deteriorated very badly, where you can see pieces of the beam are missing. So we applied for federal bridge program. We used to call it Major Bridge. It's Illinois Special Bridge Program, and we're awarded $1,800 in federal funding to rehabilitate the bridge. The bridge, we'll go in, we'll repair the ends of the beams. We're going to replace the entire concrete bridge deck because it's getting in poor condition. We're going to paint the rest of the steel, and we have to fix the slope wall underneath the bridge because it's starting to collapse and be undermined. Second project we're going to do on Maxwell, and that bridge will be done in 2024. The second project, it will start in 2025 after we get the bridge done, and that will be reconstructing the rest of Maxwell Road from the south side of the bridge all the way down to Middle Road, and will include a portion of Middle Road. We're estimating that project to cost about $4.5 million. Currently, we've got $2.4 million federal funds available. We hope that federal allotment goes up so it takes less burden off the county. Part of this agreement we're looking at, we'll study, is the road need to be 2 lanes or 3 lanes. We're also going to add sidewalks. We're going to try to get some pedestrian accommodations over the bridge, new storm sewer, new pavement. We'll either replace it with concrete or we may do a rubblization and an asphalt overlay, but that's something we're going to study during this phase 1 study. The phase 1, there's a lot of work to it. This is pretty pricey, but this is a pretty large project for us. As you see in the agenda briefing, they got to do a project development report, environmental studies, bridge condition report, preliminary bridge design and hydraulic report, even though it's not over water, public involvement, surveying, right-of-way searches, geotechnical analysis, pavement design, and pedestrian accommodations. So a lot of work for them to do. Once we get done with this phase of the thing and we know exactly what we need to do, in about a year, we'll bring a phase 2 agreement to the board for the bridge, and that'll create the final plans for the bridge. And about a year after that, we'll bring a phase 2 agreement for the rest of the roadway, which would, to you, and that would get us the final plans for the roadway surface. So there's a lot there, so feel free to ask me questions.
Questions for Jeff? Jeff, now, this Crawford, Tilley, and Murphy, they're going to do the first phase. Will you keep them for the second as well?
Yes, that was our intention. But we thought after talking with them, we thought it would better just do a phase 1 agreement, and then they know exactly how much work they have to do in phase 2, and then they don't have to give us a price here when it may only cost here. So it's a way for us to budget better and for them to give us a more realistic cost of what it's going to be.
It would seem like it would be better to keep the same engineering firm since they've done all of that. They'll be very familiar with it and can give you a better bid than probably what others would be able to do.
That's our intention. We're just breaking it up on this project just to give us a better idea what that phase 2 engineering is going to be. But yes, we have every intention of using them again.
Rob?
Where was this project on? We had the list of projects that we're going to be working on. Where did this fall? Because I know like Glen Avenue was one that was supposed to be high on our list, and it was about the same price. So why are we at the point where we are with this one before some of the projects we had higher on our list?
Glen Avenue is actually under schedule for construction for next year, so it is there. This one jumped up a little bit because of the bridge. The bridge is getting in pretty poor condition. The Altorfer facility just on the south side of the bridge, 2 years ago they were taking giant generators out of there. The semi configuration was so big they couldn't make the turn out of the road, so we'd close the road for them, or they'd close the road with our permission. They'd pull out, have to jockey the truck around or unhook the trailer, jockey around, rehook the trailer up and try to get out. And we would have to have IDOT analyze the bridge for us every time they wanted to do that. So that's extra work for IDOT, it's extra work for us. But because it's posted no legal loads, they had to use so many axles, and we had to have IDOT's blessing to take it over that. The rest of the road is really, really poor condition. The Walters Brothers dealership is on Maxwell Road, and we deal with enormous amounts of potholes and stuff. There's a lot of motorcycles going in and out of there, so this is an important project. I know Lake would be the next one in the city of Peoria. It's an important project, but I think the thinking was we're in the middle of doing Glen. That'll be coming. This is another one that it need to be done around the same time. So,
Rob, I would say that this is probably the number one priority in the unincorporated areas. We've got Glen, Lake, Gale, and probably Sheridan inside the city, which would be higher priorities. And three of those, well, one of them is funded and will be under construction. Two of them are authorized by the state capital bill, but there's been no appropriation authority yet. And then Sheridan being the fourth one that is neither, but has it ranks as a higher priority when we did the ranking for making the capital bill ask. So I would say in the unincorporated areas, this is the number one priority, and I would say it falls in the 5th or 6th overall if you include those inside a municipality.
So when we prepared our list for the legislators, this was 5th or 6th on the list for the capital bill? Correct.
I mean, and three of the top three already have some type of funding or opportunity for funding tied to them.
Any other questions? I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Moving on to miscellaneous. Does anyone have anything for miscellaneous? You jogged my memory, Jeff, when you said on that one-lane bridge, you said it was first built in 1939. Man, that is old because that's the year I was born. So that probably, you did make some repairs and so forth afterwards, but that's a long time. And I realize it's not got that much traffic and so forth. But anyway, it's old. Anybody have anything from this list? Kate?
I forgot to make a reminder at my last committee meeting, but if you have not yet, please look in your email. There should be a email from Gretchen with a password so that you can complete Scott Sorrell's evaluation. We've only gotten 5 surveys back so far, so just a reminder to board members to complete those surveys. Deadline is March 1st.
Excuse me for not turning it off. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Coach, maybe since we're sitting as a new committee, maybe it wouldn't be bad on a meeting since when we don't have a bunch of resolutions for Amy and Jeff just to give a rundown. Because I know since we have a new board and for the sake of everybody, I know I take for granted sometimes I know where the roads are at just because I've been here for so long. But maybe for this committee, if we just did a short rundown of the roads and where they're at and the pipeline and the queue, and then I've sat through 2 campaigns to try to get roads increased, so know how they're how they're rated in county. And the reason that we've done the city roads is to try to get out of jurisdiction so we can just tackle the county roads. But I know it's way more complex than that, but maybe just if we did a short sort of presentation of the struggles they have and the multi-million dollars worth of need and very little to pay for it. So it's a constant balancing act, and as we can see when the bridge in out in Mr. Fennell's area just went from like a 50 to a 0 basically overnight, and then everything they've worked so hard for to try to prepare for it completely gets shifted around. So I just think for maybe Coach, me and you, I think, and Kate's been on here, but I don't know if you were on here last time. Were you, Rob? Okay, my fault.
That was.
But I know it probably might not just hurt. I know Betty, I think this is probably junior. That way you can just see how the roads, how we came to the, or not we, but how they come to the conclusion, and it's a lot more difficult than it appears to be.
I think we could also, and it doesn't need to be part of the same session, maybe also the same for the building infrastructure list, that kind of the history of that and our progress on it and where we're going from here.
Do that.
Thanks for the suggestion. Okay.